Hello and welcome to the multi-item sorting filters in tandem storage system, or MISFIT for short. This is a storage system designed entirely for Structureless Superflat, and the reason that that's significant is that Structureless Superflat doesn't have a lot of redstone components, including stuff like comparators, which are typically essential for storage systems. So this storage works without any comparators, repeaters, observers, pistons, all that stuff, because here in Structureless Superflat, we don't have access to stone. This storage system is designed as a main storage for Structureless Superflat players and stores, well, pretty much every item in Structureless Superflat that you can obtain. So no, you won't find stone. It should work in all versions from 1.20 onwards, but I've only actually fully tested it in 1.20, 1.4. But beyond 1.21. 10? I don't remember the numbers now, but when the copper golem started, from beyond 1.20, 1.5 really, I wouldn't recommend building this because, yeah, copper golems kind of made this storage obsolete. I'm gonna make a better storage, and it's gonna be better. So don't build this, don't build this, don't build this. Anyway, let me show you how this whole thing works. Alright, so I cut out a bit of the storage system, as you can see, and to start with, let's show you how to input items. Okay, to input items, first, take the minecart out the barrel, place it on the rail, chuck all your random junk in, and press the button. It's that simple. After you press this button, this light here will turn on. Pressing the button again will do absolutely nothing. You can see that rail is not powering, the light's not doing anything. This button is useless now. Until the storage turns off, you can't use this button. Once the storage system is finished sorting, it will turn off this light and you'll be able to use the system again. Oh no, I pressed the button without a minecart there. What happens now? This button doesn't actually do anything other than send the minecart off and turn this light on. So if you did press the button like I just did without a minecart there, nothing's gonna happen. And all of a sudden you're stuck with the light on. It's never gonna turn off again, which is why this secret button here is here. Pressing this button turns off the light, resets this whole thing. So how does this actually work? Well, let me grab the minecart, put it there, and pretend that I was in survival. When you press this button, pretty much all that happens is a memory latch in here switches to make sure this light is on, and it briefly powers this powered rail here. And then the minecart just goes down, snaps onto that rail, and is pushed up into the storage system. While this lamp is on, you should make sure that the entire storage is loaded, because, I mean, I haven't exactly tested what happens if you walk out of loaded chunks, but probably bad things, probably breaking the storage. I mean, it shouldn't break catastrophically, but you probably either lose some items or just have some items not sort properly. So, you've just sent your items off into the storage. What happens next? Well, they start by coming up here and over to this cart eater. What happens here? If we see the cart, well, you won't see, but the cart will snap down. Oh, actually you do see, there you go. The cart will snap down onto this curved rail, intersecting this cactus, and break, dropping all the items, including the cart. These boats are here to make sure that these items, they don't touch the cactus. So cactus here, but the boat solid hit boxes, make sure the items can't reach it. Then these items bunch up into the corner here, activating this pressure plate, which activates both this clock here through this red line, and also resets this big orange binary counter down here. I'll get to what they do in a second. The items are then sent into this stack separator, which separates each item entity and sends them further down into the system, while also activating this binary counter and counting how many have been sent into the system. You look here, I've got binary counter counting up. Due to how the cart eater works and how items group up, certain sets of items such as this may cause issues. Basically, what happens is when these items get yeeted from the cart, they don't drop in the exact same items as were in the cart, or they drop into smaller stacks. Like, say, if you've got a stack of 64, for example, and I don't know exactly how this works, you might get that, say, 64 oak logs. It might split into like 5 different item entities, which then have to regroup together. And in a setup like that I just showed you, it allows the items to potentially not group back up to 64 and allows lots of them. So you might end up with, instead of the 27 different items that you put into the chest, you might end up with 35 item entities in this stack separator. Now, that's a problem, because if more than 33 item entities get sent into the storage system, they have the potential to despawn, which is why we have this binary counter here that counts up to 33. Well, it actually can count up to 63, but when it counts up to 33, it will activate this trapdoor. And for the sake of not having to wait the entire time, I'm going to flick this trapdoor manually, but normally the counter would flick it. Now what happens here is items drop down into the same stream that the chest minecart would drop into, but instead of going past this glass pane, it hits the glass pane and gets sent down here into this water stream and into here, which will trigger this indicator light, which is normally hidden behind here. Now they'll end up down here, and when you open this trap chest, you'll see that this indicator will turn off. As you can see, when it's off, it looks basically the same as the note blocks, especially if you don't have the texture pack that I have on currently that shows the notes and everything. When this pressure plate gets activated, as you can see, this note block gets activated, and this complicated system activates this lamp to turn on. And it's like this because I want to have it hidden in behind these pillars, and it's kind of awkward to do that, and there's interference and stuff, and so all this massive stuff is just basically to make sure that this turns on when an item comes through and turns off when you check the chest. Now normally when items are circulating, they go around in the stack separator and they hit this pressure plate right here, which then activates this fence gate just in time for this item to go straight through. However, once the last item appears, nothing will hit that pressure plate, and so it will get stopped by this fence gate, which will then send it down all the way through this back into the barrel. And because the last item is always a minecart with a chest, due to how the stack separator works and how the yeeter works, and chunk stuff and stuff that's honestly a bit complicated for me to explain because I don't really know how to explain it. But what happens is that you end up with the minecart with chest back into this barrel. So once you got your items getting stack separated in the first stack separator, they are then sent off to a second stack separator. And the reason for this is because this stack separator runs at pretty much one item every 3.5 seconds, or every 70 game ticks. But the filters can only handle an item entity every 140 game ticks, or 7 seconds. And so what happens is you have this second separator that collects the items and sends them off every 140 game ticks. And this is controlled by, again, this big counter in here. This is the global counter that's 140 game ticks long. That activates this stack separator every 140 game ticks, sending items off into the system. Now when they're sent off into the system, they're sent down here. And they are aligned against this pickle and up against this gate, and then sent off. And again, they're sent off every 140 game ticks. They specifically align with this fence gate because, here you go, there you go. You see, they come down here in batches because you've got the second loop items and they have to get batched with the first loop items because this water stream has the items go through a maximum of 2 loops to make sure they all get sorted. As items come through the water stream, they are sped up to about half a block per tick. And the reason for that is because you'll often have them going in batches of 2, which is 2 item entities, they need to spend at least 2 ticks over each minecart hopper to be able to be picked up. And so this special water stream design is designed especially for keeping them about as close as I could get to half a block per tick to make sure that they're over the hopper minecarts for long enough. As they pass, they activate each filter in series. They activate 4 filters kind of at a time at a short delay to make sure they spend enough time over each hopper minecart for the filter, and to also make sure that the hopper minecarts get back in time for the next item. So the sorting loop is rather complex. As you can see, we've got 2 item entities here, aligned slightly differently because the items cycle through the loop twice. As this is a loop, we need to make sure these items actually maintain their lanes as they go around the loop. And so we have a chest here and pickles here to align the items slightly differently as they go around this corner, which then happens again here. As they go around the corner, they then activate this fence gate, which aligns them again in time, because as you can see, these are not directly next to each other, which is a problem. So if we step like 5 ticks, you see it aligns them again and then sends them right off down through the water streams. This happens again here. And then as items approach the end, this diamond pickaxe is in the second loop. So what will happen is it will hit this pickle here and get sent to the Unsortable storage, as it wasn't able to be sorted in its 2 loops. This chiseled bookshelf is in its first loop, and so instead of hitting this pickle, it will just barely dodge it and slip right by, hitting instead this pickle and slipping between these 2, getting aligned just right and getting stopped at this fence gate, ready to be batched with the next item. Any item that exits the water stream will come over to this unsortable filter. What happens here is the item gets sucked up by this hopper minecart and put into these hoppers. Now, this pressure plate activates this redstone line, which locks all these 4 hoppers that are underneath these hoppers, and these hoppers point into chiseled bookshelves. So if what comes in is a book, it'll get put into a bookshelf, but you can't see it happen. Anyway, it'll get put into a bookshelf and taken out, and then it'll get taken over and put into the Unsortable's book storage. There we go. And if it's not a book, it will get picked up and held in these hoppers until these hoppers unlock, then going down into the Unsortable's storage. And so that'll be, any unstackable item, any item such as fireworks or, custom banners and stuff, custom maps that don't have a dedicated spot to go. You see, there we go. We just got another one in. Or if any filter overflows, it will come into here and get sorted into this Unsortable's storage. This is the main filter that's used in MISFIT. It's called a pre-cycle filter, and that's because it works on a cycle basis. As you can see, you get one item that comes in, and then it does a little loop, and that filters out the item. In that way, it's not continuous like your standard item filter with the comparator and all that, because you can't just constantly put items in and they'll always get filtered. You have to put them in at an interval. And in this case, it's about 140 game ticks. You can probably run it a little bit faster, but I have it at 140 game ticks. And the pre bit is because this hopper cart is pre-filled with items, and those pre-filled items are then emptied out into these hoppers and then put back into the hopper minecart through the cycle. Each of these filters can filter up to 5 items. In here, I've got 4 items up, I'm getting sorted, and I've got 1 blocker item. You always need to have 5 single items in the hopper minecart, and if you have any blocker items, they need to be stackable, and so a good way to do it is either use an item that you'll never put into the storage system, or what I've done here is just name a stackable item, in this case an iron nugget. It's nice and easy to get. So you can have up to 5 different items in here, and that includes both 64 stackable and 16 stackable items. But then we've also got these hoppers, and each of these need to have 4 blocker items and 1 of each of the items in the hopper minecart. Then, when the hopper minecart picks up its items, you go over these hoppers, which then pick up 1 of the items, and then goes back underneath after it's been locked by this activator rail, which deposits the items back in to the hopper, and then this activator rail unlocks it so it can pick up items. If we you look at this, it takes out all the items, deposits the items back in the filter, and gets pre-filled again. So you take out 1 of each item, get the rest of the items taken out, and then pre-filled back up when the hopper minecart reaches this end, it goes into this water and over this hopper minecart, which picks up 63 of the items from this hopper cart that goes in cycles. As mentioned before, this filter runs on a 140 game tick cycle, or every 7 seconds, and can sort up to 63 items per cycle in one item entity. As you can see, we've got 63 items, all gets picked up, all gets taken out, and then gets reset. And so this filter can sort up to 32,400 items per hour, or about 3.6 times hopper speed, which is why we have this hopper cart here over 4 hoppers, because it needs it to output all the items that we're sorting. Note that the reason that we have this water stream do 2 laps is because if you put in a stack of items, as you saw just there, the items, only 63 of those will get picked up and 1 will get sent off again. So to sort a full stack, you need to have the items go over either the same filter again later or another filter to get picked up. And here's what the whole process looks like happening all at once. After the items get sorted through the pre-filters, they head into the storage system. First, they go into this chest here. As you can see, this is still sorting some dirt. They'll come through these hoppers and go into this hopper and get instantly sucked out by this hopper here. And then they just head into these chests, cascade down all the way until the bottom. Well, each storage for each filter slice is 2 blocks wide, as the filters are also 2 blocks wide. In the main hall, you've got 6 double chests of items each, which are cascading storage. And that means the items will come down from each chest. If I take some items from here, chuck them up here, they will get sucked down all the way down to the bottom, as you can see. Now, if this were to fill all the way up, then instead of getting sucked out into this item hopper, this would be full, so it wouldn't be able to take any items anymore. Instead, this hopper would push it into this chest, which I can't open, which sends it down into the bulk section. Now, the bulk section, you've got a total of 10 double chests that are accessible. And these ones, unlike the main section, if I grab a stack of items from here, I can put these in any chest and they'll not go anywhere. There's a total of 10 double chests here, and then another 1, 2, 3 pretty much. So it's a total of 13 for bulk storage, and then another 6 for your kind of main hall storage. Once the unsortables have been sorted through this filter, the non-books will come into here and down these chests into this section here. You've got 5 double chests of bulk storage for unsortable items. Any books that get sorted out will come down here from over there. And same scenario here, you've got 5 double chests for these books to get sorted out, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4 double chests of storage space that is hidden up there. Each cycle of this clock makes this unary counter count up by 1, but each item that's sent into the storage system resets that counter. So you'll see it just counted up, but then got reset. And the reason for this unary counter is to know when to shut down the system. So as each item gets sent around, it activates this pressure plate, which activates this thing, which resets this counter. And every time this clock loops, it activates a pulse generator here, which then activates the counter to count up. Once there are no longer any items going through, this counter is free to just keep counting up. It's no longer going to get reset, as you can see. And as it counts up, slowly but surely, all the items that are in the storage system should have enough time to go around and go all the way through 2 loops and then get sorted into the unsortables section before this counts up. Now, once it's finished counting up, this counter will activate this red line and this dark grey line. And if you look carefully down there, that light just turned off, unlocking the input. This counter got reset and the clock was turned off. And it's at this point that the system is completely ready to be used again, hence why the light is turned off and therefore unlocked for you to press the button, but not without a cart here, and sort more items. Now, I designed this storage space, this entire building, to be as convenient as possible. To start with, I've got ice pathways underneath this grey carpet that allows you to move around a lot quicker if you stay on here, which is important because you can't have stuff like soul speed or whatever in Structureless Superflat. Oh, and you can't have haste beacons and stuff like that either. No, speed beacons. The main storage halls are designed to be, nice and spacious, not feel claustrophobic, but also, really easy to access. You can easily access chests from each slice, not far from the middle, and if you need the top ones, you can just get a bit closer. You've got your display items along the floor showing what you've got, and then nice display items throughout the walls to show you, kind of give you an idea of what's in each slice. And it's designed to look, sort of give a cluttered warehouse vibe, but also, you can see pretty clearly you've got a slice here, you got a slice here, you got a slice here. You can see where the slices are. These bulk hauls, you got the ones in the middle and the ones over by the side. Side ones are a bit more spacious, but these are not designed to be all that spacious. They're just designed to have, you've got your display items to show you what's in each slice, and that's about it. You also got a bunch of carved pumpkins underneath these pathways to light up the entire storage system, as well as you've got carved pumpkins in the slices to just light up the entire place as nice as possible. So that even if you got your brightness all the way down at Moody, you got decent lighting within the storage system, and stuff shouldn't spawn in here. The roof of MISFIT is designed specifically to make sure that it's both mob-proof and slime-proof. If I turn my light level overlay on, you can see that there are lamps here that are lighting up the entirety of the roof, and anywhere that it's possible that a slime could spawn, there are trapdoors or there are slabs in the way of the slime spawning, so you won't get any slimes or mobs on top of your roof. And you can ignore these bits. These are specifically for making sure your storage system is aligned properly and so that it actually works. Alright, well, that's the explanation done, but there's a couple people I would like to also thank for just helping with this project. First of all, thank you Moog Swamp for getting me into Structureless Superflat and allowing me to go down this crazy rabbit hole of unexplored technology and, well, go crazy. Thank you also to Moog Swamp's Discord community for helping me kind of work out things as I was going and giving me motivation, inspiration, and feedback, all that. Additionally, same thing for various people from the Structureless Superflat archive, which, if you don't know, is a server that I run for Structureless Superflat tech like this. Most of it isn't quite this crazy. You'll find the binary counter that I used as its own thing in the Structureless Superflat archive. You'll find also various other mob farms and a bunch of cool people who have helped me keep me going for this and giving me inspiration and feedback and all that sort of stuff. And apologies for taking so long to not only get this storage system done, but also to make this video. Anyway, if you want to get access to the storage system and a whole bunch of other stuff, join the archive. It's a great place to hang out.